Welcome back to MFO, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Hey, it's the end of March, beginning of April. Springtime is in the air. We're going to be talking about springtime fishing, and we're moving up shallow. And so one of the things that I've been wanting to do is pull out some of my old school baits. And so that's what I'm going to do a lot this week, actually, is bring out some old school baits and use springtime as a way to kind of revamp or, ask questions about whether you use some of these old school baits. One of those baits that I want to talk about is a topwater bait that doesn't get much talk anymore, but boy, it's an effective bait. It's called the Storm Rattling Chug Bug. And this can be a phenomenal bait in the springtime. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I fish it and why I think it's still a bait to use in the spring. Plus, I'm going to head up to the pool and I'm going to show you some underwater footage of this topwater classic. Stick around, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors. I'm Mark Fisher, and we're talking about the Storm Rattling Chug Bug. Do you guys have any of these in your tackle box? I mean, there are so many different topwater baits, whether you talk about walking style baits like a spook or popper baits like a pop R. You've even got, prop baits like a devil's horse or things like that. Those are all old school bait, but the Chug Bug came out kind of as the, hey, we're going to combine almost all of them. We're going to have that concave mouth. We're going to have that long cylindrical body. You're going to get that walking the dog action with that popping action. And there's rattles in it too. Well, to be honest, I've had a tremendous amount of success using a Chug Bug. And the Chug Bug came in three different sizes. It came in one that was shorter, came in this size, and one that was much larger. This one that I'm holding here, the standard Rattling Chug Bug, this is the one that I've had the most success with. And by the way, this color with the chrome bottom and the blue top, this one is one of my all-time favorite baits. I've also got another one here, the baby bass, which also has been a good producer for me. But the combination of that walking the dog action with that, little blurping kind of that you get from the concave mouth actually is a great thing. I got to be honest, I do think the rattles have something to do with it too. But tossing this bait up when you've either got bass that are cruising the banks, or that might be starting to make beds, garden beds, or even a little bit later on as the season goes where they're garden fry, these Chug Bugs are phenomenal. Hey guys, before I keep going with this, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content and you're not, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button so that you know when we're sending out videos. We put them out Monday through Friday. We've got underwater videos typically on Wednesday, but we're going to be doing a lot more of that kind of stuff where we just fill in a little bit of underwater footage here and there on baits that we're talking about like we did today. We'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to Mark Fisher Outdoors. So let's get back to talking about the Chug Bug. And you can tell, I mean, these are old school baits. I mean, you take a look at my tackle box here, and I've had these baits for years and years. You can tell based on the yellowing of the packages. But I keep these in the packages because I've kind of bought them over the years and don't want to pull them out until I'm ready to use them. But I'm telling you, there's so many good things about a Chug Bug. You can see in this footage how it really is kind of a combination of a spook style bait where it does walking the dog, but it's also creating a little bit of splash at the mouth and a popping. And then again, you've got those rattles. I think it just combines all of the positive attributes of a couple of different topwater baits. I will say also that the Flashaboo tail that came standard on these Chug Bugs was the inspiration for me kind of looking at when I do throw a spook, taking those trebles off the back of the spook and putting a feathered treble on the back of my spooks. I just think that, when I don't know this for sure, but when they were designing this, they were going, okay, let's combine a spook and a popper. Well, a popper's got feathers on the back, and it's got the concave mouth, but let's put it on a cylindrical body like a spook, so we'll keep the feathers on the back. Well, I like the fact that the feathers on the back on a spook, and this is the bait that inspired that, in terms of me putting feathered trebles on the back of my spooks as a kind of modification for that. Now, some of the things that I want to make sure that I share with you when it comes to working these, I don't, we've talked about loop knots. I don't use a loop knot, but I do want to get the freedom of motion. So these baits don't come with a split ring, but I will always put a split ring on them just to get that motion. But again, I'm not a big fan of a loop knot. I think it's a weaker knot than other knots. So I'll take a split ring, put that split ring on, and then tie directly to the split ring and be able to get that moving action to it. I prefer mono, again, because these are baits that I think work a little bit better in stained to clear water. And so, I'm going to use mono to keep it, to not pull the bait down at all like fluoro would. And, again, just tossing this bait into and around places that I think the fish either might be cruising the banks or bedding or guarding fry, into those shaded areas and things like that, docks, next to docks, those types of places, and over weed flats. And I've really had a tremendous amount of success. Guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on a rattling Chug Bug. Do you guys have them? Have you used them? Do you still use them? Or are they sitting in the back of your tackle box somewhere, not getting used too much? This spring might be the time to pull them out and see if they still got any fish left in them. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow for another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.